was for a higher juicy news. Mima Obibia Aquaba had the latest hot era with a bravo. And we so we subscribe to channel area, but more than say over subscribe. Double yard say over click a year the subscribe button. Now wabele notification. We had a video for free be upload. When the first person once saw a becan a year saw video. Afi we are now like if you don't give us a thumbs up. Nafi share my work for so now when you be here now and someone echo so Ghana me mohano. Afi ye share ye as someone ababeto yapuno so iti a year Sakubuya Ekosi, Mama iti Sansemi.
Yeah, this week we're in court. This is Cecilia Dapaa matter. We are dragging the Yoko and the Attorney General, trying to make sure that the law is interpreted well. You know, Godfred interpreted the law in such a way to allow Cecilia Dapaa to escape. But we said, no, that's not it. Once that money was found, and the money is money that so far Cecilia Dapaa cannot even account for. She said she had created a business, all the two businesses. When OSP did the investigations, those businesses didn't belong to her. So where did that money come from? Money laundering. That's what our case. So the court will deal with it.
That's the case you are in court with?
Yes.
Okay, so...
Yes. And then Dompreh Agyapong Agyapong the second. Good. And then today, let me add, apart from the 52.5 billion that we are asking Johnson Equiamwese to bring the report on, there's a new one. This Ghana Bauxite Company Limited. Can you imagine? In 2022, 80% shares in Ghana Bauxite Company Limited were sold, okay, for $12.5 million. And then in 2024, that company is now worth over $1 billion. I mean, what kind of valuation? But we just feel that the Ghana Bauxite Company, those shares, the 80% shares that were sold, that Ofori Company Limited bought, we think that it has to be forensically investigated because that bauxite is way too much to have been sold for $12.5 million. And yet in 2 years, not much investment has been done, and now this company is valued at over $1 billion. Over $1 billion. So it's not even like the company that bought Ofori Company Limited, not like they brought in $200 million so that you think that, oh, now the company's valuation is gone to $1 billion. Not much investment, and yet this company is now worth over $1 billion. We want the government to investigate forensic, investigations, so that do a forensic audit. Let's see what happened. Is it a case that our bauxite was given away to MPP cronies? Yes, that's the question we should be interested in doing. And the matter of insider dealings, etc.
Well, we'll look at that. The reason why I asked about this, Cecilia Dapaa, bit, and the fact that you said you are in court on that, because we don't know, right? Whether or not the source of the money and so on, and the participation you put to it, that money laundering, we don't know. But then this week, this matter was in court.
Yeah.
I mean, and one of the persons here, her household,
the criminal side. Okay.
They pleaded for some. They went in for some plea bargaining.
Yes. So Patience Butchery. Yes. The law allows the accused and the lawyers to ask to do plea bargaining. Yes. So that one is being sent to the Attorney General. We'll see how the Attorney General responds to it, and it's a good strategy to ask for that, so that Patience Butchery will come and give evidence against Cecilia Dapaa. So it means that in simple terms, this whole criminal trial itself is a nuisance. It's a nuisance and abuse of our criminal justice system.
I see.
Cecilia Dapaa, who cannot explain how she came by the money, is prosecuting Patience Butchery. I mean, where have you heard this? Well, you say your money is lost. You can't explain how you got the money. You have the temerity, if not for Godfred, who would
some
mount
persons
such
have even raised questions about why these persons were going in for plea bargaining.
Yeah, so it means that they are saying effectively that the Attorney General, Dr. Ayini, should discontinue the trial and rather have Cecilia Dapaa prosecuted.
That's what this plea bargaining going in means?
Yes, that's the real meaning of it, because Patience Butchery is saying that, listen, I don't need to answer any questions. Cecilia Dapaa rather should be answering where she got those millions of dollars and Ghana cedis and gold and all those things from. Because as far as we are aware, right now as we all sit here, and it's not been controverted, OSP's investigations show that Cecilia Dapaa can't explain the source of the money. We all know at one point she did cosmetic business. 2 of them, they didn't check out. Then the next thing she said, her deceased brother, the shoemaker, and please, with all due respect, I'm not denigrating these shoemakers. I'm just narrating the story. That the shoemaker had all those millions of dollars. Then when the widow of the shoemaker decided to sue, then she backtracked from that story. Can you imagine this comedy of errors? And yet we are prosecuting Patience Botwe. What?
Okay.
Cecilia Dapaa should answer for that money first.
We need
so
to
in law, what usually you do is that you look at the bigger fish, then you use a small fish to help you catch the bigger fish.
Okay.
Yes, Patience Botwe, if she took the money, if she did, that's a matter before court. We can look at that later. But the bigger picture is that how did Cecilia Dapaa get this money? So far, she's not been able to explain by all the investigations. So we can think that she definitely has done something wrong, right? And we know that she was in positions where she could access our public funds.
Well,
so our suspicion, yes, she was a minister. So if we say we suspect that it's our public funds, it's a reasonable suspicion. It's not defamatory. No. Oh, sir, as a lawyer, I know what I'm saying.
I get the point.
She had access to our public funds because she's a minister. She awarded contracts, etc. So directly or indirectly, that was access, right? So if we see her with money, it's reasonable for us to think that it's our public funds.
And so far, she must be pinned by some fact.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
That is why the court will prove.
Yes,
beyond
so we are saying
doubt.
that so far that she's not been able to explain the source of the money, that is where we should be interested in, not the prosecution of Patience Botwe. No, that's not the prosecution of Patience Botwe. Patience Botwe wasn't near any government funds. Patience Botwe was not put in any public office. Patience Botwe never awarded any contracts, etc. World Bank contracts to work on the Odo River, etc. Patience Botwe never went near that, right? And you see how citizens put it on social media that they are thinking is that that's the World Bank funds, right? So we should be interested in that investigation first. As for Patience Botwe, those are small fishes. Let's get the big fish. Like the way we say, a fish rots from the head. So tackle the root cause, not symptoms. So if anything at all, Patience Botwe is a symptom. Cecilia Dapaa herself is a disease. So tackle the disease, not symptoms. So don't let the cure be worse than the disease. The disease is Cecilia Dapaa. Tackle Cecilia Dapaa, not if anything at all the symptoms. All right. And that brings me finally. She awarded another contract that is bringing a lot of problems. Filtration of water around Teshi from the sea is a big problem. Godfred, that means start on it. There's AG's opinion. As we go along, I'll read it for you. Where Cecilia Dapaa awarded a contract, the contract wasn't executed, causing financial loss. Right now, the contractor has our money and has 6 cars. Okay? 6 cars. The sanitation agencies asking that they should bring back their cars. They are not doing, and all of this, Godfred Dami sat on them. Godfred Dami sat on that, didn't reveal that to the public. He gave an opinion
send us
that, yes, I'm sending the AG's opinion, that we should recover our money from them. And why didn't Godfred Dami sue? Why, whilst his government was in power? He signed an opinion saying that, that money, what Cecilia Dapaa did in that contract was bad, so the contractors have our money, and yet he did not sue to recover. He gave an opinion that the money should be returned. If you say money should be returned and it has not been returned, what do? You sue. Godfred Dami didn't sue. I'll read portions of his opinion. I'm sending it to you as we go along.
As this
so Cecilia Dapaa, we are not done with her. We are not done at all. No. You will hear more and more about her.
That's why I asked you a question about the status of the court cases that you say that you are pursuing in that regard. So we'll take the box on that.
And people should pay tax. Betting tax.
That has been done. Go over. Did you say E-levy should? I thought you meant the COVID-19.
No, see, I'm saying that E-levy should have been redesigned. You can find a different name. And I agree. So that those who file taxes don't get subject to it. Because there's also another dimension to E-levy, widening the tax net. So you and me, we file our taxes. You as a lawyer, you have to do it. You'll be in trouble. He does it. We all do. So as many people who do that are free of it. So that those who don't file taxes, they will be the ones who should be caught in it. And it would have been easy because it's just your NIA, which serves as your own tax ID.
Okay.
Now the benefit of that is not income alone, but it's also promoting good tax behavior by the citizen, which is critical for the minister to achieve this. That is what I'm saying. But the E-levy as was a total nuisance.
Yes.
Yeah, so you see, the matter is that, you know, at the base of the E-levy conversation is the fact that it disproportionately targets poor people. Yes. So you see, once again, the moment you say for those who file, they should be out, then we are hitting more at the poor people.
No.
You know, the poor people.
I understand that, but I'm saying that filing taxes, it doesn't matter whether you are rich or poor.
Yes.
It is a culture that we must nurture.
And we have a long way to go.
But it should have been a way to expedite people's learning, and it could have just been digital, voluntary.
Yes.
Self-assessment.
So good. So because we still have a huge problem with the filing system, okay, not like America, is it April 15 for 30?
Everybody does it, rich and poor.
But Ghana, we are still a long way from that culture. So it's safe that we let E-levy go now because of that problem. So maybe GRA should make you ambassador for the filing system. I'm sure you do a good job at it. I know some years ago the campaign was done even before this. Yeah, certain people went to file. I think Indum. Yeah, when you read the Revenue Administration Act, there's a deadline. Is it April 30th or so?
It's April 30th for everybody.
Yeah, so Indum went to file his to signal that people should do. Then they fizzled out. So I agree with you. Long term, that is what should be done. But currently, right now, because we will disproportionately target poor people. I know we all sit here and we are interested in inclusion. We don't want economic development that excludes poor people. Kwaku Annan just mentioned 8-point-something million who are below the poverty line. Is that also, Minister?
Yes.
Excellent. So they are offering our concern. So because this E-levy was causing them too much headache, I think for now, I agree with the abolition. As and when we increase education on everybody filing by April 30th, etc., then we can go with what you're saying. So maybe you can be a self-appointed ambassador, right?
I beg you.
No, that's how these things go. Like the way I'm at this table because I took initiatives, going to court, maybe number 1, number 2. Yeah, so take the initiative, write them a proposal that you are self-appointed. This is what you intend to do. Then let them, buy in, and then you roll out. Hey, you have a lot of energy. People know you. DEP, you did a good job. Yeah, so you can rally people because that thing, we all see it. We all know where the problems are, but like nobody wants to take that bold step. So that's my point on the E-levy one.
And then you said COVID-19.
You see, the COVID-19 matter. It's serious. Since Dr. Asako mentioned it, I've been thinking, you see, and so Senor also says that, yes, he subscribes to renaming it and letting it go on. Yes, to the extent that it brings money, I have a soft spot for it. But you see, the danger is that, you see, JM went through an election. He promised.
Yeah, I understand. That's honorable on their part. Very honorable.
And the reason, and don't forget that, you see, one thing we often leave out today, I don't think we've mentioned it too much directly.
Right.
The main problem we have with our tax generation system is that, to be honest, the ordinary man knows that the politician is getting too much from the public purse. I mean, in terms of the cars, the other day you listed V8, pickup, saloon, traveling allowances, the impress. The politicians get way too much. So the ordinary man is not interested. So this thing that COVID-19, people are angry because, look, you all go to the same classroom, you graduate the same day. Let the politician enter office, even as a DCE. In 2-3 years, he will earn more than you will ever earn in your entire working life. So let's understand the tax.
The official, unofficial earnings.
Everything, because our systems are weak. We've been saying it. Like we keep saying that there are gifts. A lot of the things we call gifts, they are actually bribes. But because we don't have evidence, you call it gift now, so that the conversation can go on. So you see, anytime you mention this tax matter and you don't mention accountability, then you haven't said anything.
I agree.
So until President Mahama promised that the Article 71, the ex gratia, etc., will be abolished, right? So if you want people to pay that all these taxes, start from there. The election promise was that Article 71 office holder, I'm going to abolish the, especially for the political class. Let's clarify. He said for his appointees. Since he came into office, I haven't heard a repetition of the promise or the steps being taken. So that is where, Mr. Ofosu, do you have any visibility on it?
That position still stands. Indeed, when he made the Constitution Review Commission, he reiterated it.
Very good.
But so he has power only over his appointees.
Yes, that's where we were.
Arms of government.
Yes,
that must be clarified.
Yes, that's why I clarified. I'm happy you've repeated it. So he should come. The moment you want to talk about taxes in Ghana, you have to first, to make the discussion sink, you have to start about how you plug loopholes, how your classmate who enters politics will not earn in 2 years what you take 20 or 30 years to earn. Until you've said that, you've not said anything.
You are right.
Until you've said that, you've not said anything.
You are 100%.
So let's start with the accountability, this and blocking all the corruption issues. Then the citizens will be interested. Otherwise, So that is my take on the COVID levy. So for now, because we haven't strengthened the accountability issues, we haven't done the close all the loopholes, and the politicians are still feeding very fat on the public purse, let the COVID levy go. When you strengthen those systems, we can always reinstate. Yes, because it's on the basis. Mahama, he knows how the citizens feel. So citizens are feeling like, no, politicians make way too much. They make way too much. Don't overtax us. So he agreed that he will let it go. He should let it go. When he strengthens the anti-corruption system, the waste, the leakages, all that, and their excessive packages, then they will pay so that that tax can be reinstated. Right. Because poverty is a big problem. It's a huge problem. So we shouldn't take these matters lightly.
You cannot say that it should not be carried. Let me give you an example. Do you know that ECG, as I speak, they have about 3,000 containers sitting at the Tema port. They have bought items that they will not require in the next 10 years, some of which will expire in 5 years. And because of that, they are attracting the demurrage of 1.5 billion Ghana cedis annually.
1.5 billion cedis.
Ghana cedis annually. That is expenditure. Demurrage. That is expenditure. But is it useful expenditure? How do you go and import items to the tune of 3,000 containers? Why you don't need them? For 10 years, they won't require those items.
And the HAPTEL contract.
That is waste, flagrant waste of public resources. That is not how you stimulate. Indeed, these items are imported. How has it helped the Ghanaian economy? If local manufacturers were doing the transformers and wires and the things that you needed, and you spent on it, perhaps you can talk about stimulating economic growth. But if you've gone to import items from China, how has the Ghanaian economy benefited? So please, let us not attempt to justify the wrongs of the MPP. The truth, and everybody would agree, that at least under the Fourth Republic, the economy between 2020 and 2024 has been the worst. All the indicators show it. And let nobody attempt to put a dampener on this.
It's a result of COVID-19.
Please,
Russia,
please, that is a hackneyed excuse that nobody accepts anymore. Why? COVID. Is Ghana the only country that COVID hit? Indeed, just after COVID, or in the heat of COVID, an analysis was made of the economies in sub-Saharan Africa. Ghana's economy was the worst. All our neighbors, all our neighbors did far better than we did. Even the deficits show it. If you have COVID, it is not a license to go and spend recklessly. Government's duty then was only to protect you and I by making investments in health such that the disease doesn't spread. Beyond that, you don't do things that you can't sustain. The truth is that there was an election. And that is why when you check Cote d'Ivoire's finances, you see that they don't have the deficit we had. The difference between them and us is that we had an election, they didn't. If we had stuck to just protecting people through expenditure in healthcare so that the disease are not spread, we won't incur the deficit we did. They went beyond that in a bid to win election. In fact, I would even have thought that they had learned lessons from the 2020 episode. If you look at the budget, you see that in 2024 they repeated it. That's how come we have the primary balance exceeding the target by 800%. And the deficit doubling. They programmed 4.2 in the budget. They've done 7.9%. That is huge.
Overall balance.
That overall balance.
Yeah.
And you know what a primary deficit, a primary balance is? It just looks at the difference between your revenue and expenditure.
Yes.
And then it takes out interest payments, which is statutory. Then it expresses it as a percentage of your GDP. The desirable outcome is a positive balance, which you call a surplus. But they have gone negative 3.9%. That is not a good story. And in fact, there's a reason why the IMF is focusing on this, because that's actually what shows whether you are being prudent or not. Look, before investors engage you, and Senor knows this, they look at how you are managing the finances. In other words, if they lend you money, the way you are managing your finances, are you able to pay back? And this is what they look at. They may ignore your debt to GDP ratio to the extent that you are able to service the debts, depending on the rates at which you borrow. But if they see that your primary balance, your deficits keep rising, they are not going to do business with you. And we suffered that right after the 2020 election. So please, this economy is not in good shape. It is verifiable on the face of the facts. Even in our lives, we all have noticed it. So let us credit the people of Ghana with a bit of respect and intelligence, and not tell them things that are not true.
Yo, it is for when a reporter abato yepono make say so when you subscribe to channel idea bomodi say over subscribe. Now while like video no, give us a thumbs up na fe share ma wo foforo so na we be here na wo hu ensemo ekoso e wo Ghana memo hanum. Also betimi otchere wadwen afa eye some we nyina ho e wo comment box mu mobati minkabi in my next video.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.